Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now, this is absolutely hilarious. CBS, yes, CBS, one of the biggest dirt rag leftist networks, just tried to do a dramatic report, a serious report on the border crisis. You know, the same crisis the Democrats said was so complicated and so impossible to fix that it required billions upon billions of dollars in spending. And guess what happened? They didn't encounter a single migrant. They went all the way down to the border expecting, I guess, to capture some tragic footage of desperate migrants crossing in droves. Maybe some kids in cages, or some racist Trump Gestapo Border Patrol agents. But instead, what did they get? Literally nothing. Empty. Crickets. Not a single illegal crossing through a once crisis-zone portion of the border. You can't make this stuff up. The Trump administration has absolutely delivered, despite all the naysayers, despite all the garbage rhetoric that we saw from the left, especially during the last election season. Let me show you the look on these people's faces. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so I guess so much for a dramatic report. Take a look at what happened.
Our cameras captured a heavily fortified U.S. border.
This has been known for so many years for the high level of smuggling activity.
That has been true historically, but not anymore.
The activity is very slow. There's multiple factors attached to why we have seen a significant drop in apprehensions recently. One of them, of course, is consequences.
And you believe that is due to new policies from Washington, D.C.?
It has a lot to do with that.
It is quiet here at the U.S.-Mexico border, where illegal crossings are down by more than 90% from the same time last year. We have seen Border Patrol agents, soldiers, and vehicles and barriers, but no migrants so far.
So you spent how long, going along the
About
border?
4 hours.
And how different was this trip versus past trips
Well, we
during
did not
different
see a
administrations?
single migrant or asylum seeker. And typically, when we go to the U.S.-Mexico border, we at least see one group of people who are trying to cross into the U.S. illegally. We did not see a single migrant. We saw soldiers, Border Patrol agents, and National Guard troops, and vehicles and barriers, but no migrants at all.
I mean, you can almost hear the confusion in their voices. They went down to what was once a hotspot for illegal crossings, and they found nothing. And now this is where the leftist media narrative crashes and burns. How exactly did this happen? Oh, it's so shocking and confusing. But no, it's not. Trump did what the Democrats swore was impossible. He shut down the flow of illegal migration overnight. Yeah, that's because the problem was never what the Democrats claimed it was. For years, the Democrats and their media lapdogs told us that securing the border was impossible. They said the only way to fix this problem was to spend billions of dollars in more funding. And they said Trump was actually the problem, that his rhetoric was making things worse, and that he was blocking their comprehensive immigration reform plan. Translation, amnesty, open borders, and more funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine. But it was all BS from the start. Now here we are, Trump steps in, changes the tone, changes the policy only a little bit, and bam, the crisis is over, overnight. It turns out when you tell the world America has no borders, crossing illegally and staying here is not a crime, it turns out people show up in droves, like this kind of nonsense.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime.
Oh, what a mystery. I wonder how America found itself with a border crisis with these clowns in charge. I mean, come on. Well, it turns out now, I guess the conclusion is that when you tell the world that the free ride is over, we are enforcing the law now, they stop coming. And the numbers are just staggering. I mean, they're stunning. Donald Trump very often loves to boast and exaggerate about timelines and his achievements, but on this case, I mean, he deserves 100% credit. He absolutely knocked it out of the park on this one. He said, right when I take office, I'm going to fix that problem, and it's going to be the most glorious presidential achievement on the border you have ever seen. And that seems to be exactly what it is. I mean, he really delivered in this instance, to the extent that he wasn't even boasting. He wasn't exaggerating. No, he really delivered to the extent that he said he would.
The vice president expected to touch down here at the border within the next few hours. I could tell you he is going to see a whole lot of troops, Border Patrol agents. But one thing that he is not going to see is many illegal migrants. And that is because the number of encounters are at an all-time low right now. And for me to say that is pretty remarkable because we are right outside of Shelby Park, as many of you remember, just the epicenter here of the migrant crisis. In 2023, at its peak, Border Patrol agents encountered 3,000 to 4,000 migrants a day. That is just in the Del Rio sector. Thousands of migrants flooded Eagle Pass, waiting to be processed, overwhelming agents and resources. Well, check this out. Compare it to now, because sources just moments ago told me that they had just 14 encounters yesterday here in the Del Rio sector. According to Border Patrol, apprehensions across the border down 94% from 1 year ago.
Look at those numbers. And it's even more stark when we put it on a graph. The illegal border crossing numbers are better now than they were during full lockdowns at the height of the pandemic. And just look at that tank all the way down. Not to mention also take a look at the Joe Biden track record. What an absolute disaster. Border crossings year over year are down over 94%. Again, not 9%, not 40%, not 4%, 94%. The situation has completely flipped, and it's gotten from hundreds of thousands of illegals pouring into the nation every month to now basically nothing. This is how you solve problems. You don't need billions of tax dollars funneled into the latest big government slush fund grift. You need actual executive leadership. And then I guess, boom, the problem solves itself, even quite literally. As now not only is Tom Homan and crew deporting illegals, but illegals are also doing the job for him. Self-deportation is real, and it's kind of hilarious. This has leftists losing their damn minds. It's not just that illegal crossings have collapsed, it's that illegal aliens are now deporting themselves. I mean, just look at AOC's former chief of staff, an illegal alien himself, who just self-deported to Colombia after Trump took over. Yeah, that's not an isolated situation, it's part of a larger trend. And now Trump is increasing that trend as he's made it even easier with the new CBP Home app. Remember CBP One? Yeah, well, Trump has taken over that app and changed it quite a bit.
The Trump administration has taken that controversial CBP One cell phone app for migrants that the Biden administration was using, and they've repurposed it into a self-deportation app that is officially launching today. And we're getting an exclusive first look at it. Take a look. The app is now called CBP Home. It allows illegal aliens in the U.S. to register to self-deport. They fill out biographical information, including their countries of citizenship, which country they plan to return to, their alien registration numbers, their contact information, and it allows them to upload photos of themselves to confirm their identity. All of it is then submitted to CBP, and they leave the country. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why would an illegal immigrant want to self-deport? Well, DHS says if they leave now, they will have the opportunity to return to the U.S. legally in the future and chase the American dream. But if they don't leave, they will be found, arrested, detained, and deported with a permanent ban on entry into the United States.
He took CB1, which was Biden's disastrous appointment app that basically made it easier for people to schedule their illegal entry into the United States, and now turned it into an app that helps you leave the country. You literally cannot make this stuff up. And finally, and so quickly, a problem that seemed so unsustainable, well, now is quite sustainable. This ought to put it into perspective.
The number of border crossings have dropped so much under Trump that federal agents now outnumber illegal crossers. The El Paso sector, which saw a peak of 1,800 encounters per day back in 2023, now sees fewer than 100. Across the entire southern border, the number has dropped to an average of just 359 illegal migrants a day. Compare that to the 2024 average of nearly 3,000.
There's now less people attempting to illegally cross the southern border than there are border agents. Border agents outnumber the illegal migrants. I mean, what an incredible success. And now finally, border agents can actually focus on doing important work like fentanyl seizures and tackling human smuggling. And again, it didn't require billions upon billions of dollars in extra funding. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.